Not everyone in your life is meant to stay. It's a hard truth to accept, isn't it? We form bonds, invest our energy, and build expectations around the people we let into our lives. Friends, family, co-workers, or romantic partners. Relationships often come with an unspoken promise that they'll be fulfilling, enriching, and at the very least, positive. But reality doesn't always align with that ideal. Sometimes, the people we hold closest are the ones who harm us the most. The truth is, no matter how much history, love, or obligation you share with someone, their presence in your life isn't always a good thing. And learning to recognize when someone is bad for you is one of the most important steps toward protecting your well-being and personal growth. Toxic relationships don't always announce themselves with flashing red flags. They can be subtle, insidious, and hard to pinpoint, especially when emotions are involved. Often, we find ourselves making excuses. Maybe they're just going through a tough time. Maybe I'm being too sensitive. Or the most dangerous one, maybe I deserve this. These justifications keep us tethered to relationships that drain our energy, stifle our growth, and leave us feeling worse instead of better. But here's the thing, you don't have to stay. You have the right to walk away from people who hurt you, no matter who they are. And that's what this discussion is about, learning to identify the signs that someone is bad for you and gaining the clarity and courage to cut ties when necessary. Now, welcome to the channel. If you're new here, make sure to like the video and hit that subscribe button. Only 15% of my audience is currently subscribed, so if these insights resonate with you, I'd love for you to join our community and turn on the notification bell to stay updated. Imagine your life as a garden. Every relationship is a plant in that garden, contributing to its beauty, health, and balance, or taking away from it. Some plants thrive with minimal care, offering vibrant flowers and shade. Others are more demanding, requiring attention and work, but they reward you with fruit or unique beauty. But then there are weeds. At first they seem harmless, just another plant among many. But left unchecked, weeds spread, choking out the healthy plants, consuming resources, and taking over the garden. Worse, some plants may appear beautiful on the surface, but carry poison in their leaves, slowly seeping toxicity into the soil. These are the toxic relationships in your life. You wouldn't hesitate to remove a weed or a poisonous plant from your garden. So why do we hesitate when it comes to people? The answer is complex. Guilt, fear, attachment, and societal expectations all play a role. But if you want your garden to thrive, you have to protect it. You have to nurture the relationships that add value and let go of the ones that drain it. This isn't about being cold or unkind. It's about prioritizing your emotional and mental health. Why harmful relationships are so damaging? Before we dive into the signs that someone is bad for you, let's take a moment to understand the impact toxic relationships can have. It's easy to underestimate the harm they cause, especially when you're in the middle of one. But the truth is, toxic relationships don't just affect your mood or your day, they affect your entire life. First, there's the emotional toll. Toxic people often bring negativity, drama, and stress into your life, leaving you feeling drained, anxious, or constantly on edge. You may find yourself doubting your worth, questioning your decisions, or feeling like you're not good enough. Over time, this emotional strain can lead to depression, low self-esteem, and even physical health problems. Chronic stress from toxic relationships has been linked to everything from sleep disorders and high blood pressure to weakened immunity and heart disease. Then there's the social cost. Toxic relationships can isolate you from healthier connections, either because the toxic person monopolizes your time and energy or because their behavior drives others away. They may discourage you from pursuing your goals, undermine your achievements, or create a hostile environment that stifles your growth. And perhaps worst of all, toxic relationships can distort your sense of what's normal or acceptable, making it harder to recognize and avoid harmful people in the future. This is why recognizing the signs of a toxic relationship is so crucial. It's not just about avoiding pain, it's about protecting your ability to grow, thrive, and connect with people who genuinely care about you. The following sections will explore 7 key signs that someone is bad for you and provide insights into why these behaviors are so damaging. Sign 1. They consistently drain your energy. Let's start with one of the most obvious but often overlooked signs. Some people simply drain your energy. These are the individuals who, after every interaction, leave you feeling exhausted, stressed, or emotionally depleted. They may not even realize they're doing it, but their constant negativity, neediness, or drama takes a toll on you over time. Think about someone in your life who always has a problem, complaint, or crisis that demands your attention. It's not that you don't want to help or be supportive. Of course you do. But when every conversation feels like an emotional marathon, it's a sign that the relationship is unbalanced. You might find yourself dreading their calls or avoiding spending time with them because you know it will leave you feeling worse, not better. Energy-draining relationships aren't just inconvenient, they're harmful. They prevent you from focusing on your own needs, goals, and well-being, leaving you with little energy for the things that truly matter. Over time, this imbalance can lead to resentment, burnout, and even physical symptoms of stress. So how do you handle someone who consistently drains your energy? Start by setting boundaries. It's okay to say no, to take a step back, or to limit your interactions with someone who is overwhelming you. Remember, protecting your energy isn't selfish. It's necessary. If the person genuinely cares about you, they'll respect your boundaries. If they don't, that's a sign the relationship may not be worth preserving. Sign 2. They make you doubt your worth. Have you ever been around someone who makes you question your value? Maybe they belittle your achievements, criticize your choices, or constantly compare you to others in a way that leaves you feeling inadequate. These are the people who, instead of lifting you up, seem intent on keeping you down. This kind of behavior is particularly damaging because it targets your sense of self-worth. Over time, you may start to internalize their criticism, doubting your abilities and feeling like you're never good enough. You might find yourself seeking their approval or validation, even though it's rarely given. This creates a toxic cycle where your self-esteem becomes dependent on someone who actively undermines it. It's important to recognize that this behavior says more about them than it does about you. People who belittle others often do so out of their own insecurities, using criticism as a way to feel superior. But understanding their motivations doesn't mean you have to tolerate their behavior. If someone in your life consistently makes you doubt your worth, it's time to reevaluate the relationship. Surround yourself with people who celebrate your successes, support your growth, and remind you of your value. Cutting ties with someone who undermines you isn't just an act of self-preservation, it's a declaration of self-respect. Recognizing the signs. The first step in protecting yourself from toxic relationships is learning to recognize the signs. People who drain your energy or make you doubt your worth are not just difficult, they're harmful. Their presence in your life takes a toll on your emotional, mental, and physical health, and it's important to address these issues before they escalate. In the next part, we'll explore more signs that someone may be bad for you, including controlling behavior, broken trust, and the tendency to bring out the worst in you. But for now, Take a moment to reflect. Think about the people in your life and how they make you feel. Are there relationships that leave you feeling worse instead of better? If so, it might be time to make some changes. Sometimes, the most harmful relationships don't feel toxic right away. They start with small compromises, little things that seem insignificant on their own. But over time, these moments add up, and before you know it, you've lost pieces of yourself. Relationships that once felt supportive can slowly become controlling, manipulative, or outright damaging. This is the subtle erosion of self that toxic people can cause. It's not always loud or dramatic. It can be quiet, insidious, and hard to recognize until the damage is done. In this part, we'll explore 3 more signs that someone is bad for you: controlling behavior, broken trust, and the tendency to bring out the worst in you. Sign 3. They are overly controlling. Control can take many forms, and it doesn't always look like what you might expect. Some people are overtly controlling. They tell you what to wear, who to talk to, or how to spend your time. Others are more subtle, using guilt, manipulation, or passive-aggressive behavior to influence your choices. Either way, the result is the same. You feel like you're walking on eggshells, constantly trying to meet their expectations or avoid their disapproval. Here's the thing about controlling behavior. It's not about love, care, or concern. It's about power. When someone tries to control you, they're not respecting you as an equal. They're prioritizing their desires, fears, or insecurities over your autonomy. And that's not love. Love is about freedom, not control. Think about your relationships. Are there people who make you feel guilty for making decisions that don't align with their preferences? Do they try to isolate you from other friends or family members? Do they get upset when you assert your independence? These are red flags. Dealing with a controlling person requires clear boundaries. You need to assert your right to make your own choices and live your life on your terms. This can be difficult, especially if the person has been in your life for a long time or holds a position of authority. But remember, you are not responsible for managing their insecurities. Your autonomy is non-negotiable. Sign 4. They consistently break your trust. Trust is the foundation of any healthy relationship. Without it, everything else falls apart. When someone lies to you, manipulates you, or betrays your confidence, they're chipping away at that foundation. Over time, these actions create a dynamic where you're constantly questioning their motives, doubting their words, and feeling uneasy about the relationship. Here's the tricky part. Rebuilding trust is possible, but it takes effort, and not just on your part. The person who broke your trust needs to take responsibility for their actions, show genuine remorse, and demonstrate consistent, trustworthy behavior moving forward. If they're not willing to do that, the relationship isn't worth saving. Ask yourself, how many chances have you given this person? Have they made a real effort to change, or do they keep repeating the same behaviors? Sometimes we hold on to relationships out of loyalty, history, or the hope that things will get better. But if someone repeatedly breaks your trust, they're showing you who they are. Believe them. Cutting ties with someone who has betrayed you can be painful, especially if you care deeply about them. But staying in a relationship where trust is broken will only cause more harm. You deserve connections built on honesty, respect, and integrity. Sign 5. They bring out the worst in you. We all have moments when we're not our best selves, when stress, anger, or fear gets the better of us. But the people we surround ourselves with play a significant role in shaping who we are. Some relationships inspire us to be kinder, braver, and more thoughtful. Others bring out our worst tendencies, encouraging negativity, impulsiveness, or behaviors we're not proud of. Think about someone in your life who consistently brings out the worst in you. Maybe they encourage you to gossip, criticize others, or engage in unhealthy habits. Maybe they provoke you to anger, jealousy, or resentment. Or maybe their behavior is so toxic that it pushes you to act in ways that don't align with your values. This isn't just about blame. It's about recognizing patterns. If a relationship consistently leads to negative outcomes, it's worth examining whether it's truly serving you. Are you growing as a person, or are you being dragged down? Are you proud of the version of yourself that shows up in this relationship, or do you feel ashamed after every interaction? The Stoic philosopher Epictetus said, "The key is to keep company only with people who uplift you, whose presence calls forth your best." This doesn't mean you should expect perfection from the people in your life. Nobody's perfect. But it does mean prioritizing relationships that support your growth and values. If someone consistently brings out the worst in you, it might be time to let them go. Staying in a relationship with someone who is controlling, untrustworthy, or toxic to your growth comes at a high cost. It drains your energy, erodes your confidence, and stifles your potential. Over time, these relationships can reshape your identity, making you doubt your worth and accept behaviors you once would have found unacceptable. The longer you stay, the harder it becomes to leave. You may feel trapped by guilt, fear of confrontation, or a sense of obligation. But here's the truth. Staying in a toxic relationship doesn't just hurt you, it also prevents you from building healthier, more fulfilling connections. Every moment you spend with someone who harms you is a moment you could spend nurturing relationships that uplift and inspire you. Recognizing when enough is enough. Recognizing that a relationship is harmful is the first step toward freedom. It's not easy, especially when emotions, history, or societal expectations are involved, but it's necessary. Controlling behavior, broken trust, and the tendency to bring out the worst in you are all clear signs that someone is bad for you. These relationships don't just affect your day-to-day life, they shape your sense of self and your ability to grow. In the next part, we'll explore the final two signs that someone is bad for you: self-centeredness and resistance to your growth. We'll also dive deeper into why cutting ties is not just a choice, but a vital act of self-preservation. For now, take a moment to reflect on the relationships in your life. Are there people who control you, betray your trust, or make you feel like a lesser version of yourself? If so, it's time to ask yourself, is this relationship worth the cost? Now, some exciting news. Our channel now offers a live stream, streaming Stoic wisdom and insights around the clock. Plus, by joining our members club, you'll unlock exclusive benefits, deeper content dives, and personal insights. Join us on this journey and let's build a meaningful life together. And I also humbly ask you to leave a comment, as it helps my channel immensely. If you do not know what to comment, just write "better every day" so I know you reached this far. And don't forget to subscribe for more content like this. Also, I've linked some books on Stoicism that helped me become the man I am today, and will also help you achieve a Stoic mindset. Let's face it, cutting ties with someone isn't easy. Even when you know deep down that a relationship is harmful, the thought of walking away can feel overwhelming. Maybe it's because of shared history, the emotional investment you've made, or the fear of being alone. Maybe you're worried about the fallout, what they'll say, how others will react, or what it will mean for your future. These feelings are valid, but here's an important truth. Letting go of someone who is bad for you isn't about abandoning them. It's about choosing yourself. It's about recognizing that your well-being, growth, and happiness matter more than maintaining a relationship that hurts you. In this part, we'll explore two final signs that someone is bad for you: self-centeredness and resistance to your growth, and why cutting ties, while difficult, is sometimes the most powerful act of self-respect. Sign 6. They make everything about themselves. Have you ever had a conversation with someone where, no matter what you said, it somehow turned back to them? You're sharing something important, a challenge you're facing, an achievement you're proud of, and instead of listening or engaging, they redirect the focus. Suddenly, it's not about you anymore. It's about their problems, their successes, their feelings. This is the hallmark of a self-centered person, and while we all have moments of self-absorption, chronic self-centeredness can make a relationship deeply unfulfilling. Self-centered people often lack empathy. They struggle to see things from your perspective or consider your needs because they're too focused on their own. This doesn't mean they're inherently bad people. Sometimes their behavior stems from insecurity or a lack of self-awareness. But that doesn't make it any less harmful. When someone consistently makes everything about themselves, it creates an imbalance in the relationship. You might feel ignored, undervalued, or like your role is to serve their needs while neglecting your own. Think about your relationships. Are there people in your life who rarely ask how you're doing, or when they do, don't actually listen to your answer? Do they monopolize conversations, dismiss your feelings, or only reach out when they need something? If so, it's worth considering how much space you're giving them in your life. Dealing with a self-centered person requires setting clear boundaries. You might start by asserting your needs, letting them know, for example, that you'd like them to listen without interrupting, or that you need more support from the relationship. But if they're unwilling or unable to change, it may be time to reassess whether the relationship is worth maintaining. Relationships should be a two-way street, not a one-sided performance. Sign 7. They resist your growth. Growth is a natural part of life. As we learn, experience, and evolve, we inevitably change, and the people who truly care about us will celebrate that change. They'll cheer us on as we pursue new goals, develop new skills, or take steps toward becoming the best version of ourselves. But not everyone will. Some people resist our growth because it threatens their sense of stability, control, or self-worth. The emotional hurdles of letting go. The first and most challenging hurdle when cutting ties is guilt. You might find yourself thinking, am I being selfish? Shouldn't I give them another chance? What if I'm overreacting? These thoughts are normal. Society often tells us that loyalty is the ultimate virtue, that we should stick with people through thick and thin. But there's a difference between loyalty and self-sacrifice. Staying in a toxic relationship out of guilt isn't noble. It's self-destructive. It's also common to fear confrontation. The idea of telling someone that you're stepping away can feel terrifying. What if they lash out? What if they try to manipulate you into staying? What if they accuse you of being the problem? These fears are valid, especially if the person has a history of being controlling or emotionally volatile. But avoiding confrontation only prolongs the pain. Setting boundaries and standing up for yourself is an essential part of the healing process. Sadness is another inevitable hurdle. Even if you know someone is bad for you, letting go means saying goodbye to the good moments you shared, the dreams you had for the relationship, and the version of yourself that believed things could change. Grieving is a natural part of letting go, and it's important to allow yourself to feel that sadness without judgment. It's okay to miss someone and still know that leaving was the right choice. Practical strategies for cutting ties. When it comes to cutting ties, clarity and preparation are your greatest allies. Here are some steps to help you navigate this difficult process. 1. Reflect and decide with certainty. Before taking any action, take time to reflect on the relationship. Write down the ways this person has impacted your life, both positively and negatively. This exercise will help you gain clarity about why you're making this decision. If you find yourself wavering, remind yourself of the pain and harm caused by staying. 2. Set clear boundaries. When you're ready to cut ties, be clear and direct. You don't need to justify your decision extensively or engage in a long debate. A simple, honest explanation is enough. For example, I need to prioritize my mental health, and I think it's best for us to take a step back from this relationship. This relationship has become unhealthy for me, and I need to focus on myself right now. Expect resistance, especially if the person is controlling or manipulative. Stay firm in your boundaries and avoid being drawn into arguments or guilt trips. 3. Limit contact. Depending on the nature of the relationship, you may need to set strict boundaries around communication. This might mean unfollowing them on social media, blocking their number, or avoiding places where you're likely to run into them. It's not about being cruel. It's about creating the space you need to heal. 4. Seek support. Surround yourself with people who care about you and understand what you're going through. Talk to friends, family, or a therapist about your decision and the emotions that come with it. Their support will remind you that you're not alone and that your feelings are valid. 5. Focus on self-care. Cutting ties can leave a void, but that void is an opportunity to focus on yourself. Invest in activities that bring you joy, relaxation, and growth. Whether it's journaling, exercising, picking up a new hobby, or spending time in nature, self-care is an essential part of rebuilding your sense of self. The healing process. Rebuilding your sense of self. Letting go of someone toxic isn't just about removing them from your life. It's about reclaiming the parts of yourself that were lost in the relationship. Toxic people often erode your confidence, independence, and sense of identity, leaving you feeling unsure of who you are without them. The healing process is about rediscovering your worth and rebuilding a stronger, more resilient version of yourself. 1. Reconnect with your values. Spend time reflecting on what matters most to you. What are your core values? What kind of relationships do you want to cultivate moving forward? By reconnecting with your values, you'll gain clarity about the kind of life you want to create. 2. Reframe the experience. Instead of viewing the relationship as a failure, see it as a lesson. What did you learn about yourself, your boundaries, and your needs? How has this experience shaped you for the better? Reframing the experience in a positive light will help you let go of resentment and move forward with a sense of empowerment. 3. Celebrate small wins. Healing doesn't happen overnight. It's a gradual process, and it's important to celebrate small victories along the way. Maybe it's the first time you say no without feeling guilty. Maybe it's realizing you went a whole day without thinking about the person. These moments are proof that you're making progress. Building a healthier future. Once you've let go of toxic relationships, you'll have the space and energy to cultivate healthier connections. Here's how to ensure that the relationships you build moving forward are fulfilling and supportive. 1. Choose reciprocity. Seek relationships that are balanced, where both parties give and receive support, love, and respect. Pay attention to whether the relationship feels mutual or one-sided. 2. Prioritize communication. Healthy relationships are built on honest, open communication. Be willing to express your needs, listen to others, and work through conflicts in a constructive way. 3. Trust your intuition. If something feels off about a relationship, trust your gut. Red flags often appear early on, and paying attention to them can save you from future pain. 4. Invest in quality over quantity. It's better to have a few meaningful relationships than many superficial ones. Focus on nurturing connections with people who genuinely care about you and add value to your life. Conclusion: the freedom of letting go. Letting go of someone who is bad for you is one of the most challenging but liberating decisions you can make. It's a declaration of self-worth, a commitment to your well-being, and a step toward a healthier, more fulfilling life. The process isn't easy. There will be moments of doubt, sadness, and discomfort, but the reward is freedom. Freedom to be yourself, to grow, and to surround yourself with people who truly uplift you. As you move forward, remember this: you are not defined by the relationships you leave behind. You are defined by the courage it takes to prioritize your happiness and the strength it takes to rebuild. Your life is your garden, and you have every right to protect it, nurture it, and let it flourish. So take a deep breath, trust yourself, and choose the relationships that allow you to thrive. Now, if any part of this message has been helpful to you, leave us your like and comment, helping the algorithm recommend it to someone who needs it at this time. Don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss new videos. And if you look through the videos we've already uploaded, you're sure to find something to take with you. Have a good day.